so before I do my brows, there's something that I do that people will probably find a little weird. I don't know. Gotta get this hair together really quick. I like to use eyeshadow primer on my eyebrows. This is the Urban Decay Original Primer Potion. There's not like any particular primer that I use. I honestly just grab a primer, whatever is close nearby, and I use it on my brows. I use a couple different products when it comes to the actual powder or brow product that I use. One of them is actually from the LORAC Contour Kit, and I used the deep contour shade for like the first portion of my brows, from the beginning to about the middle of my brows, and then I actually will fill in the tail end of my brow with the ABH Dip Brow in Chocolate. So these are the two products I'm going to be using to fill in my brow. As far as the tools go for brushes that I use for my brows, I use 3 of them. I use an Anastasia brush, and then I also use a Sigma brush, and I use a brush from BH Cosmetics as well. The brush from BH Cosmetics is really just a flat angled brush. This is all that it is. It came in this brush came in I think a 10 or a 12 piece collection, the pink polka dot collection. I don't even know if they still have it, but I will search the website and I will link it below in the information box if I'm able to find it. And again, this is just a flat angled brush. I also like to use an angled shader brush. This is from Sigma. This is the E70 brush. This is what I'll actually use to apply the brow powder, or the contour powder rather, to my brows. And this is just the Anastasia eyebrow brush. It's got a spoolie on one end and then a small flat angled brush on the other end. You probably are having a hard time seeing that. But this is what I use to apply the dip brow, and of course I also use the spoolie to just brush out my brows and distribute the product evenly throughout my brows. So I've already primed my face and my brows, and I'm going to go in with the shade Deep Contour from the LORAC Pro Kit, or the LORAC Pro Contour Kit rather, and just start filling in the front of my brows. And the reason why I like using this particular brush, or a brush similar to this one, an angled shader brush, is because, as you can see, this brush just evenly applies the product all over my full brow. So you can fill your brows in as light or as dark as you like. But once you have them filled in to your liking, then you just want to make sure that you brush them with the spoolie, again, to evenly disperse all of the product. And don't worry about applying the product, you know, super perfect, because that's what the concealer is for when we go through and clean up our brows. So I'm okay with this for now. I'm going to move on to the dip brow. Just as I did with the powder product, I'm going to brush this out. And you know how you want your brows. This is really your choice, your decision to make. If you feel like your brows are more sparse or you want to fill them in darker, it's totally your decision to make. So here I'm going to go a little bit beyond my arch and more in on my eye, only because my eyebrows are shaped different, but I want them to look as similar as possible. So this brow may take a little bit more work to get it to match my other brow. that's the case with you, then girl, just do what you gotta do, honey, to get these brows to look like sisters and not long distance 5 generations down the bloodline cousins, okay? Alright, I think I'm good so far. I do leave my dip brow open, and I also leave my contour kit out as well, because sometimes when I'm cleaning up with the concealer, as you will see, I don't always get this perfect. So sometimes I have to go back in and reapply product. The concealer that I'm using is one of my favorite. It is Cover FX in the shade in medium deep. A little bit of this concealer goes a long ways. I actually have too much on the back of my hand right now, but I'm just going to take that pretty little BH Cosmetics brush and pick up some of this concealer from Cover FX. And I'm just going to clean up my brows. I think a really big important key to remember is that practice makes perfect. I often get comments from girls and they tell me how perfect my eyebrows are, how much they love my eyebrows, and they ask me how I do my eyebrows and things of this nature. Really, you guys, it's just practice. Like, I didn't wake up one morning in my 20s and was like, I'm gonna have perfect eyebrows today. It took practice. Like, it really took continuous effort on a day-to-day basis to get my eyebrows down packed the way that I like them. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Now I'm gonna stop rambling and apply this concealer to snatch these brows. So that's my first brow, my right brow. And quite honestly, I'm good with it. One thing that I've learned is that once you get it to where you like it, don't keep playing with it, because that's when you tend to mess it up. So when it comes to the concealer, take your time, don't rush it. It is a process. Again, practice makes perfect, so don't just wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna have perfect brows today, and think that's how it's gonna come out if it's not something that you've consistently done. Yeah. So again, I'm good with this. I'm just gonna blend out some of the product here, the concealer. And some girls use like a shader brush or a blending brush to blend out their concealer. I just use my fingers. Sometimes I feel like your fingers are your best tools anyway. So onto the left brow. And when I said earlier that I picked up too much product, look at this. I still have, can you see all that product I have left? The Cover FX concealer is amazing. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way. So you don't really need much. So here's where I feel like I need to apply more product, because I feel like I messed up right there. I just felt like my tail on my right brow was a bit different than my tail on my left brow, so I feel like I just need to like push it out more. So So I'm not adding any additional product. Like when I was using my dip brow brush, I did not apply any additional product to this brush. I just used the product that remained on the brush. I'm going back in now with my angled shader brush, not applying any additional product. I'm using the product that's already on the brush. One thing that's very important to me is that I try to get the front of my brows as uniform as possible. And I like how my brows have the rounded look in the front, which is what this brush gives me, which is another reason why I love this brush. I also want to make sure that they are the same size. So I am really big on using my peripheral vision when it comes to my brows. So for me, what that means is that I look straight ahead into the mirror. I get an overall view of what my brows look like from front to back or from beginning to end. And as long as I feel like they look remotely similar, I'm good. I leave them alone. Again, I like to make sure that I have that rounded look in the very beginning. I don't like a straight, harsh edge. I used to do that. Lord, that was horrible. Thank God for growth and transformation, Jesus. But I like the really rounded look in the beginning. And also, I try not to make the front of my brows or the beginning of my brows too dark. I try to make them look a little light, because then it also just helps them look more natural. Which, I mean, come on now, we know that these aren't my natural brows, but every little step that you can take to help them look more natural is awesome. This is how I do my brows. That's it. It's really not hard, at least for me. Again, it was just practice over time. I learned what I like, what I don't like. I learned what I feel like looks good and what doesn't look good. And that it's gotten me a lot of great compliments, and so that's what I continue to roll with. I like it. You guys seem to like it. I'm good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this very simple, not too over the top eyebrow tutorial. I hope that it was also helpful to you. If you decide to try this method, or if you think that this method will work for you, I hope that you will try it and let me know. I'd love to see the results that you get if you try to do your brows the way that I do. I just feel like I can't stress enough that this is not something that you can accomplish overnight. It's really just practice, which I think makeup in general is like that. It's just practice makes perfect. And if it's something that you're passionate about, or if it's really a skill that you really want to acquire or learn to the best of your ability, it's just practice. Practice over time will make you the best that you can be. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to be posting another video very shortly. I just got the Modern Renaissance palette. A good friend of mine bought it for me. Thank you so much for buying this for me, Letha. So I'm going to dabble in that a little bit and get that tutorial up for you girls and guys very soon. Again, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you really soon in another video. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sheena Danielle here with a tutorial for you using the new ABH Modern Renaissance palette. It's all over social media. You guys have seen this 1,000,001 places. Now make it 1,000,002.